the summer of 1940. Europe lay shattered beneath the heel of Nazi Germany. Only Britain, defiant and alone, dared to stand against the seemingly unstoppable Nazi war machine. The English Channel, a shimmering ribbon of water, became the thin blue line between freedom and tyranny. In the skies above, a drama of unparalleled intensity was about to unfold. The fate of Britain, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. Germany, flush with victory from the fall of France, turned its attention across the Channel. Operation Sea Lion, the planned invasion of Britain, was Hitler's next ambitious goal. But first, the Luftwaffe, the mighty German Air Force, had to achieve air superiority. They had to crush the Royal Air Force, the RAF. Prime Minister Winston Churchill, with characteristic defiance, rallied his nation. His words echoed through the hearts of the British people. "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender." The Battle of Britain had begun. The skies over southern England became a deadly ballet of twisting metal and blazing guns. The Battle of Britain was a clash of ideologies, but it was also a contest of engineering, a duel between some of the most advanced fighter aircraft ever built. On the British side stood the Supermarine Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. The Spitfire, sleek and graceful, was a masterpiece of aeronautical design. With its elliptical wings and powerful Merlin engine, it possessed a deadly combination of speed and maneuverability. The Hurricane, though less glamorous than the Spitfire, was a rugged and reliable workhorse. It accounted for the majority of Luftwaffe aircraft destroyed in the early stages of the battle. The Luftwaffe countered with the Messerschmitt Bf 109, a formidable opponent. The Bf 109 was fast and heavily armed, a match for the Spitfire in many respects. However, it lacked the Spitfire's turning radius, a critical disadvantage in the close-quarters dogfights that characterized the battle. The Germans also deployed the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber, its terrifying sirens striking fear into those below. Though effective against ground targets, the Stuka proved vulnerable to the RAF's fighters. The Luftwaffe's initial attacks focused on British shipping and coastal convoys in the English Channel. This phase, known as the Kanalkampf, or Channel Battle, was a prelude to the main assault. The Luftwaffe sought to draw out the RAF to test their strength and tactics. The RAF responded with controlled aggression. They could not afford to be drawn into a battle of attrition. Their strategy was to inflict maximum damage while preserving their precious few fighters. The first major air battles were a shock to both sides. The Luftwaffe, accustomed to easy victories on the continent, encountered fierce resistance. The RAF, outnumbered but determined, found themselves pushed to the limit. The skies over Kent and Sussex became a swirling maelstrom of dogfights, the air thick with the stench of cordite and burning aircraft. The Kanalkampf proved to be a costly miscalculation for the Luftwaffe. They suffered heavy losses, failing to inflict the decisive blow they had hoped for. The RAF, though stretched thin, had bloodied the nose of the German Air Force. One of the key factors in the RAF's favour was their integrated air defence system, known as the Dowding system after its architect, Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding. This sophisticated network of radar stations, observer posts and telephone lines allowed the RAF to track incoming enemy raids and direct their fighters to intercept them with devastating efficiency. The Luftwaffe, on the other hand, relied on less sophisticated methods of detection and communication. Their intelligence on RAF strengths and dispositions was often flawed, leading to tactical blunders. The Kanalkampf also revealed a critical weakness in the Luftwaffe's arsenal. The Bf 109, while a capable fighter, had a limited range. Once engaged over England, they had little time to maneuver or engage in extended combat before having to turn back towards France. On August 13, 1940, the Luftwaffe unleashed Adlertag, Eagle Day. This marked the beginning of the all-out assault on RAF airfields and infrastructure. Goering, head of the Luftwaffe, believed that he could crush the RAF within days. Waves of German bombers, escorted by Messerschmitt fighters, thundered across the Channel. Their targets, the RAF's vital chain of airfields, radar stations and aircraft factories. The attacks were relentless, the sky filled with the roar of engines and the thunder of exploding bombs. The RAF fought back with desperate courage, their pilots flying until they were physically and emotionally drained. Airfields were cratered, hangars reduced to rubble. The casualties on both sides were heavy, but the RAF, though battered, refused to break. The Battle of Britain was a clash of nations, but it was ultimately won and lost in the individual struggles of thousands of young men fighting for their lives in the skies above England. Their stories are tales of extraordinary courage, skill, and sacrifice. Flight Lieutenant Alan Deere, a New Zealand pilot flying with the RAF, described the intensity of the dogfights. "Never have I seen so many aircraft in the sky at once. We were outnumbered, but we fought like demons." Sergeant Pilot Nicholas Kaldor, a Hungarian-born RAF pilot, recalled the constant pressure. "You lived on your nerves. You never knew when you took off whether you would return." On the German side, pilots like Adolf Galland, a highly decorated Luftwaffe ace, expressed grudging admiration for their opponents. The English fought with great determination and skill. They were worthy adversaries. These were the few immortalized by Churchill. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. As August turned into September, the Battle of Britain reached its climax. The Luftwaffe, frustrated by their failure to break the RAF, shifted their attacks to London and other major cities. This marked the beginning of the Blitz, the sustained bombing of civilian targets. This change in tactics proved to be a strategic blunder. It gave the RAF a much-needed respite, allowing them to regroup and repair their damaged airfields. It also stiffened British resolve. The sight of Londoners bravely enduring the nightly bombardments only strengthened their determination to resist. On September 15th, the Luftwaffe launched a massive daylight raid on London. It was met by a furious RAF defence. The skies over the capital were filled with hundreds of aircraft, locked in a desperate struggle. The Germans suffered heavy losses and were forced to withdraw. This date, now commemorated as Battle of Britain Day, is often considered the turning point of the battle. The Luftwaffe, though continuing to launch attacks, had lost its momentum. The RAF, battered but unbroken, had prevailed. Though the air battles continued into October, the intensity gradually diminished. The Luftwaffe, recognizing the failure to achieve air superiority, scaled back its attacks. Operation Sea Lion, the planned invasion of Britain, was postponed indefinitely. The Battle of Britain was over. The RAF had lost over 1,000 aircraft, and over 500 pilots had been killed. But they had inflicted heavier losses on the Luftwaffe, and most importantly, they had prevented Germany from achieving its strategic objective. The significance of the Battle of Britain cannot be overstated. It was the first major defeat for the Nazi war machine, a crucial turning point in the Second World War. It demonstrated that Hitler's forces were not invincible, boosting morale among those resisting Nazi aggression across occupied Europe. The Battle of Britain was not only a clash of wills and courage, but also a proving ground for technological innovation. Both sides employed cutting-edge technology, constantly seeking an advantage in the deadly aerial arena. The development of radar was perhaps the most significant technological development of the war. The British, pioneers in this field, used their chain-home radar system to great effect, providing early warning of Luftwaffe raids and allowing the RAF to intercept them. The Germans, though initially dismissive of radar, soon recognized its importance. They developed their own radar systems, though these never reached the sophistication or effectiveness of the British counterpart. Aircraft design also played a crucial role. The Spitfire, with its revolutionary elliptical wing design and powerful Merlin engine, proved to be more than a match for the Bf 109. The constant race to improve existing aircraft and develop new ones drove innovation on both sides. The Battle of Britain, though fought over 70 years ago, continues to resonate deeply in the national consciousness of Britain. The few, those brave young men who took to the skies to defend their country, are remembered as heroes. Their courage and sacrifice serve as a timeless reminder of the fragility of freedom and the importance of resisting tyranny. The Battle of Britain, though fought in the skies, was ultimately a victory for the human spirit, a testament to the indomitable will of a nation unwilling to surrender. The echoes of their valor still ring out today, a poignant reminder of the debt owed to those who fought and died in defense of liberty.